But what I don't think is getting talked about enough is the amount of debt that tens of millions of people are in right now, and they are going to allow. This is the poison pill of the $1.9 trillion stimulus. There is a poison pill within the bill that allows the garnishment of the $1,400 check if you owe money, and that to me is. I can't even imagine how ugly it's going to get when a lot of people are going to start to really suffer mightily, because I don't know how much longer people are going to put up with this. And that's what I'm curious from your perspective. How much longer are people going to tolerate this stuff?
Well, I think, you can't fool all the people all of the time. So when people, by the way, there are people who owe months of rent.
Exactly.
Who have been evicted or on the verge of being evicted. So this money may help them pay part of what they owe. And these rent moratoriums don't decrease the amount. It just gives you more time and more debt to get into. So not only do you have that poison pill, you have people who are seriously in the hole, people who are already struggling. It's something we don't talk about very much, that half of American workers are low wage. This is before COVID. People, the gig economy, this it's horrible. But so people were in a bad state before COVID, and now they're in a worse condition. I think this is going to be it. I think this might do it because Biden, he doesn't have the. That's why they push the propaganda so much. It's harder for him to fool people. People are asking, why didn't he give a State of the Union? Why doesn't he give a press conference? I think it's because he's not well. I said that all last year.
He's been propped up since the beginning. And their goal has always been to insert Kamala Harris. That's been their goal. That's been the Clintons' goal. That's been their goal. And they're getting her in there come hell or high water. And this is the way to do it.
And I think that's a great segue to Kamala. I think that this is a very important topic to talk about because most of her support is not from the Black community. And the way that it's kind of been force-fed on people.
Who is her demographic?
Yeah.
Who is her demographic? I'm asking you, who's her demographic?
I think
our viewers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's definitely a group of Black women down here. They hate me, and they're Kamala Harris supporters.
Well, and talk about what happened when she was running. She dropped out before they even got to the California primary because she was way behind. So she's problematic because she was a prosecutor. That makes her problematic to Black people. She put a lot of Black people in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Said that we can't let people out of jail because we'll lose our cheap labor. Talk about forced labor. It's right here in American prisons. So people did not like her. Being Biden's running mate helped her now, but then of course she's in, and then people will support her because she's one of us, Well,
that's the thing. That's how they had to get her in, and she couldn't. I don't think she could have done it on her own. I think that she. No. But what's interesting is how much they play the identity politics card with her. And it's very frustrating to me. I remember when Sandra Day O'Connor was appointed to the Supreme Court, and I remember thinking, oh my God, there's a woman on the Supreme Court. How great. Yet no, it didn't turn out that way. And I've learned that the person's identity only matters in as much as that person is helping lift up that vulnerable community or other oppressed communities. If that person is just that color, it's just it's counterproductive.
It's the issues. It's ideology and the issues that matter. And my take is, are you in favor of the things I'm in favor of? Are you going to do the things I want you to do? And I don't care, what do most racists say? I don't see color, but I do see color. But
I don't see color.
That's what I want from people in elective office. I want them to do right by the people, and the austerity, and the neoliberalism, and the imperialism. That is what I want. Who gets it for me? I don't really care. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I don't care what color they are. We need people to represent our needs, and it's
not going to be Kamala.
No.
We, of course, are speaking with Margaret Kimberley, the author of Prejudential, Black America and the Presidents. I think one of the last subjects we should talk about is identity politics, and how much longer are they going to draw blood from a stone, or are they going to be able to get away with constantly talking about, hey, the next guy to drop bombs, our Secretary of State is a black person. It's like, at what point do they run out of ways to distract people from what's really going on?
Unfortunately, when people suffer more, when those checks are garnished, when people lose their jobs, when people lose their health insurance, when people are evicted, I think that's going to be it, because at the end of the day, people care about their own lives. And when there is a large enough mass of people who are suffering, and I think the questioning, we talked earlier about decorum, and some people are all about, you can't yell too much, but I think the fact that that is even a discussion is an indication that people are tired and they want more. And at least Trump is gone, is not going to cut it. That is not going to cut it when people who worked all their lives are out on the street because they don't have a job, because their check was garnished, because they were in the hole too much. And then they're going to do what neoliberals do. They're going to snatch up people's houses. They're going to do what they did in 2008. It's going to be that all over again. So I repeat, I'm not wishing ill on people, but I think that's the point we're getting to.
I say that all the time. I'm not a proponent of violence, but power concedes nothing. And historically speaking, that's the only way things have ever happened. And I wanted to ask you and I know this is not something you could summarize, but when you look at the history of presidents from start to finish, do you feel overall that you see progress? Like, what are you optimistic about? Like, is there anything that's a remotely in the right direction thing?
I think it's the people. That's it. It's not these leaders, leaders in quotes. It's not the presidents. When they've done the right thing, it's because the people pushed them to do it. And so, it's a cliche now, we are the change we want to see. It's us. It's us. And that is the optimism that I have. The fact that they clamped down on censorship, we didn't talk about internet censorship and Twitter and Facebook do. That is an indication of what people can do. They're even afraid of opinions. They're afraid of people to post an opinion that is outside the realm of acceptable thought. So
even our show,
we've had that.
We're getting suppressed. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So anybody who's doing the right, I guess if you've never been suppressed or something, you're doing the wrong thing. But that's an indication of that's their greatest fear.
Yeah, and I think if there's one thing definitively that I think will be worse under Biden than Trump is censorship. I think that is going to get to an exponential level that people are not really fully aware of yet. I mean, we're bordering on full-blown authoritarianism in this country. I just don't think that Biden is at the point where he's capable of doing it. I think Biden's on his way out. It's just a question of when it happens.
This is not.
But I think that Kamala is exceptionally dangerous. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
She really is
she's a manufactured corporate establishment candidate.
When he chose her, as soon as it was announced that I saw these headlines, Wall Street breathes a sigh of relief.
Oh, yeah.
Harris was his choice. So I was like, well, this is not someone who's good for the people. But I think they're prepared. I mean, if they can deplatform a former president, they can deplatform anybody. Yeah. And they will.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that was always the biggest fear. And we were both very outspoken about, if you want to deal with Trump, you always counter bad speech with good speech.
Yeah.
You don't take people's ability to communicate away, because the second you do that and the second people become comfortable with it is the second you enter into the realm of what's going on with Julian Assange. It's never about anytime. And again, the K-Hive, of course, are the loudest people in the room who don't want this telethon to free Assange to happen.
They're not happy with me.
But what's most interesting is that it's never about the substance of the issue. It's never about protecting the freedom of the press and protecting free speech. It's not about your constitutional rights. It's about Julian Assange pissed me off, and I'm willing to give up my rights just to feel better about myself.
Well, I didn't even agree with that.
That's why they smeared him. That's why he was, most people probably don't know, he was never charged with rape in Sweden. The Swedes dropped the charges right away. People don't know that. People don't know he's in prison because of the Iraq war videos, not because of this alleged hacking of the DNC and giving it to the Russians, which that's why that's another whole show, Russiagate, the Russiagate fraud.
Oh, we certainly hope you will come back.
Oh, yeah, no, you're going to have to come back. But I mean, Julian Assange is a huge issue to me. It's been a huge issue to me. I have a background in journalism. I cannot stress it enough that us prosecuting Julian Assange is the end of the First Amendment. And I've various constitutional issues with how can he be charged under the Espionage Act when he's not a citizen. And I've got a lot of questions. But so my goal is to get as many people to flood Merrick Garland's office as possible with phone calls, emails, whatever, just use the platform as best as I can to get it out there, because I don't know what else to do for Julian Assange. And this has been plaguing me for like 10 years. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.